it's not very often that we get to hear from the defensive coordinators at Georgia. As a matter of fact, during the regular season, we don't hear from them at all. Today, we got a treat. We got to hear from the co-DCs, Will Muschamp and Glenn Schumann. It's always nice to hear their perspectives on what's going on around the program. And this week, they have the tough job. Yeah, I'm going to say it. It's all on them. I say that because they have to figure out how to stop Ohio State quarterback C.J. Stroud. Funny enough, Stroud could have been a dog. He was recruited by Kirby Smart and his staff. Stroud told us today UGA came in second when he was being recruited. Ohio State ultimately won that race, but he said it was very close. Guys, the Heisman Trophy finalist is special. He has good arm strength, can fit the ball into tight spaces. This morning, Muschamp talked about how skilled he is.
Wow, I mean, I think that, he's an elite passer. I mean, that's the first thing that jumps out. He can make all the throws. He puts the balls in catchable areas where a lot of, just don't have that talent to do that. A lot of people don't have that talent to do that, and he certainly can. I think it was Michigan State 2 years ago. He takes a zone read 70 yards for a touchdown against Northwestern this past year. 5:30 left to go in the game. Designed quarterback run out the backside. So he has legs.
Yeah, I would say, he's an elite passer, very poised with his game. And you could tell they run everything through him. Like I say, like you said, Coach said he got legs. He could pretty much do it all. He was a Heisman finalist, and that just says enough for just the kind of player he is.
Oh, what could have been between Georgia and Stroud. And guys, he isn't the only Ohio State player who chose OSU over Georgia. A five-star offensive lineman, Paris Johnson Jr., he also chose Ohio State over UGA. We'll see if those two gentlemen made the right choice on Saturday when OSU and UGA face off for a chance to play in this year's national championship game. Reporting live from right outside of Mercedes-Benz Stadium, Emily Gagnon, Atlanta News First. And Georgia has the #2 scoring defense in the country, surrendering just over 12 points per game. I'm telling you that to remind you of this. There's no drop-off from last year's team. In 2021, that national championship defense through 15 games gave up just over 10 points per game. They've been able to keep it up all season long. Reporting live from Mercedes-Benz Stadium, Emily Gagnon, Atlanta News First. Yeah, brutal honesty today from Stetson Bennett and Todd Monken. Stetson went on to say that the most important thing Monken has done is stay consistent. Sure, he is very impatient, but consistency is key when it comes to Monken. He says that he gives his players plenty of reps until they completely understand the assignment. Reporting live from Mercedes-Benz Stadium, Emily Gagnon, Atlanta News First. Hey, Tracy, I can tell you this. A lot of dog fans have reached out to me on social media asking for an injury update, statuses for Ladd McConkey and Warren McClendon. I did see both guys today. I talked to them both. They were injured in the SEC championship game, both major contributors to Georgia's offense, and they wouldn't tell me whether they were a go Saturday. That's part of it. You don't want to tell Ohio State anything you got going on. Don't want to give away the game plan. But if McConkey can't go Saturday, it would be a huge loss to Georgia's offense. McConkey told us today that, well, you know what? Everyone's banged up at this time of the year. The redshirt sophomore is the Dawgs' leading receiver with 51 catches for 675 receiving yards and 5 touchdowns. The Dawgs, they've gone through this before. Last season, it was George Pickens. And to start this season, it was A.D. Mitchell. Depth at the position should help, but McConkey is special.
And I'm just going on scout team doing our one defense. At that time we had Lewis Seen, Richard LeCount. So, we had lots of older guys. And, there's little freshmen coming and just making spectacular plays in practice.
He really can do everything out there on the field.
Yeah, he definitely surprised me. Especially, I can remember when I first seen him being a walk-on, man. We who this guy is out there running this ball, running so fast and getting in and out of his cuts, his breaks and stuff like that. Ladd just been, somewhat like Stetson.
And listen, to be clear, I did ask McConkey quite a few times about his injury and whether he could or might be able to play, if only just for a few minutes. But he deferred all injury questions to Kirby Smart. He's a smart player. He knows how to do it. The only thing I can really give you is that yesterday at practice, he wasn't on the field with his teammates for that first 15 minutes that we get to watch. That doesn't mean he didn't go out there at some point. Just while we were watching, he was not there. I will give you an update on whether I see him today. Practice starts around 5 o'clock. Reporting live from Mercedes-Benz Stadium, Emily Gagnon, Atlanta News First.
We'll see you later this afternoon. Emily, thanks.
What's up, Alan? Yeah, it was media day today for Ohio State and Georgia. And what that means is almost every single player on both rosters are made available to the media. If you're wondering why that's such a big deal, well, during games, during the regular season, or even practices, we don't get to choose which players we talk to. Georgia makes that decision for us. So today I was looking for one guy in particular. Yeah, Jalen Carter, the defensive lineman. You know, I have never talked to him since covering Georgia. I've been covering the team for 6 years now. I've never even heard his voice. And mind you, he's projected to get drafted in the top 5 of this year's NFL draft. So, you know, Georgia's really been shielding him from the media, but not today. In the SEC championship game, he picked up LSU quarterback Jaden Daniels using one arm like Daniels was a rag doll. It was a play that can go in any highlight reel. Carter's talent is vast. His size can be seen from miles away, and his strength isn't hard to spot when he makes plays like the one you just watched. A couple of weeks ago, ESPN analyst Todd McShay said Carter had character issues. If you ask Carter or any of his teammates, they'll tell you there aren't any at all.
I see my character is good. I got the best, not the best, but I got good character. If you can ask anybody on the team, they posted on Twitter, as you've seen. I don't think anybody will say I have bad character.
No, not that I've seen. You know, just someone out there trying to tear him down. For what reason, I don't know. You know, we don't see it. The players don't see it. You know, I don't see it. So just for that rumors getting out there.
Comments like that can really hurt you when it comes to the NFL draft and teams wanting to know what kind of issues you have, especially when it comes to your character. But I can tell you this, according to Carter's teammates, there are no character issues. They absolutely love the guy. And why wouldn't you when he makes the plays that he makes? Reporting live from Mercedes-Benz Stadium, Emily Gagnon, Atlanta News First. Yeah, and listen, Mike, my most surprising moment of the week happened when Todd Monken, the offensive coordinator, said that the coaching staff got it wrong when it came to quarterback Stetson Bennett. They buried him for a couple of years, but he kept fighting, continued to compete until his name was called, and he did what he was supposed to do. And you know Stetson loved hearing every second of that because he was sitting right next to him.
Yeah, he really did. He asked for the compliment repeat at SEC Media Days.
And one of his top targets, one of his favorites on the team, Ladd McConkey, the wide receiver, he might not be able to go tomorrow. And Warren McClendon, both injured in the SEC championship game, both starters, huge contributors to the offense. What do you know about their injuries, and do you feel like they're going to play?
Yeah, I think Ladd's one of everybody's favorites.
If McConkey doesn't go, it's a concern for me, but McClendon, not as much. Guys, back to you in the studio. We are live outside of Mercedes-Benz Stadium, home of tomorrow's Peach Bowl between number 1 Georgia and number 4 Ohio State. I'm Emily Gagnon with Mike Griffith from AJC's Dog Nation. Listen, the last time the Dogs played in the stadium behind us, sure, they dropped 50 points, okay? That's something to talk about. But they also gave up 30. Does that concern you at all? That was 4 touchdowns. They gave up over 500 yards passing. It's something we have to talk about.
Yeah, no, you do.
And Georgia's defense, certainly sick of hearing about that LSU performance because every guy I've talked to, they're ready to move on. Like, seriously move on. Jalen Carter, let's hit on the defensive lineman that I heard from for the very first time yesterday. UGA just does not make him available to us very often. Listen, somebody said that there were some issues with him, some character issues, and ESPN analyst said that. And yesterday he said, there's no issues with me. Teammates supported him saying that as well. How much do you buy into that?
Yeah.
And picking up a whole quarterback with on one arm, that's all I had to see, all right? That guy's going top 3, top 5. I'm going to send it back to you because we could talk about Jalen all night long.